We've got the agenda to run. Did you blow it at the weekend?
Yeah, big time. It's on the manager. Like it was at Old Trafford. Yeah, people are going to go, here we go. See, I'm not going to be winning now, am I? They're all going to turn on me now. But to leave Zinchenko on, and people will want to sit here and say, well, it's great to say that after the event. I was saying it at half time, get him off. All the way through my half time with Ola, get him off. I said, in fact, I was saying all the way, I even said it last week to you. I said, I played Tierney in that game. Yeah, and listen, we started off great. We got the goal. We should have scored after the first minute. Martinelli skinned Trent. We knew that was going to happen. Like, he cooks him every time he plays him. And we get the goal. And then Jesus scores. He missed a sitter before that. It was like, then Robertson had a chance before we scored the second. Salah, that ball diagonal to Salah was on all game. And then Granit Xhaka, it should have been a free kick, by the way. I thought the ref was horrendous. Should have been a free kick. Konate pushed Xhaka over. Xhaka see the size of Konate and thought, I'll pick on Trent instead. And then 40 seconds later, after we've all switched off, they score. Yeah, Zinchenko nowhere to be seen at the back stick. He's supposed to be the left back, but our centre back was there. Where was he? And then the substitutions were a shambles. Like we've watched a manager who's been in a title race pretty much every year. Well, 5 out of 7 years, or 4 out of 6, or whatever. Yeah, make 3 substitutions before we made one. What's that all about? Like, what are you doing? You're winning the game 2-1. You're getting absolutely peppered there in the second half, and we're getting deeper and deeper and deeper in our own box. And in the end, the liability that can't defend, which I've been saying all season can't defend. Listen, Zinchenko's brilliant with his little short passes going forward. He can't defend, and he's a left back, apparently. Yeah, he's a left back. We then take off Martin Odegaard, who ghosted, by the way. Who knew? Big away game ghosts. Yeah, and people are saying he's the best centre midfielder in the league. Do me a favour. Yeah, he ain't. Yeah, but because he jumped up against Sporting Lisbon when we won a throw-in and got the crowd up, that's him, free pass. He loves the club. Look at the passion. So he gets a free pass. I've not seen anyone mention how poor he was, by the way. But the liability defender that we have got nutmegged by the worst right back in the league. Unbelievable. And then Ben White, who's, for me, been absolutely superb this season, don't even know that Firmino's there. Like, what is going on here? Yeah, and then as soon as Zinchenko gets nutmegged, he brings Tierney on. What are you doing, mate? You bring on Kivior for his second league appearance ever for Arsenal after playing his first for 4 minutes against Palace. You bring him on at Anfield. Well, didn't we sign Jorginho? Yeah, with the experience of winning major honours. Wasn't it for this game? Wasn't it for games like this to see games out, no? Slow it down and get your passing range and all that. What happened to Fabio Vieira? I thought he was the next Bernardo Silva. Why was he on the bench? Why didn't he come on for Odegaard? Yeah, what happened to Smith Rowe? Why didn't he come on? Like, it made no sense. His substitutions were shambolic. The way he managed that game from when we went 2-0 was a joke. And he did that at Old Trafford, Terry, yeah? All right, and listen, we've got a whole week now to play. I think we play Saturday against West Ham. Yeah, if we don't go out there against West Ham and get a result, it's done. Yeah, but I do think we'll beat them. I do think we'll beat Southampton. They only play Leicester before we play them. So we could be 9 clear with them having 2 in hand. If we get out of Man City with a draw, I don't think they're catching us, even with them games in hand.
Well, this is the thing about it.
But we have to win the next 2.
No, I agree. You have to win the next 2 because also you go into that game with a 9-point lead. There is a psychological element that's harder for Man City because games in hand are not points. There's pressure in them. And if you would have grabbed something at the Etihad and go, say you had 9 points clear, you grab the draw and you maintain that 9 points. Yes, they could win those 2 games in hand, but any slip up and that gap just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger the whole time. So it's going to be an amazing couple of weeks in terms of the title race now because of this draw. But I think what's interesting is the reaction people have towards you and a few others. I was a little bit annoyed to see Gooners go, that's it, it's done, it's over. I thought that was too premature, far too premature in my opinion. Equally, I've seen people like you attacked for criticising what I think are clear mistakes.
Oh, but you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to with Arsenal fans, Terry. It has to be sparkles and unicorns every day. Yeah, and then when it all goes tits up, they'll just go, nobody expected us to win it anyway.
Yeah, and I think for me, that's the bit that I kind of looked at and thought, come on now, like there were mistakes from the team and the manager. I think the subs were wrong. As you say, you weren't aggressive enough in the second half. The best way to have stopped the kind of onslaught from Liverpool would have been to have laid a glove on them, attack, put some pressure. There was a couple of times you countered and you look up and there was nobody in the counter attack with the person with the ball. And those are mistakes. And I think I almost guarantee when the team are watching the DVD and the film back the next day or today, maybe even if they got a day off yesterday, I don't know. But I guarantee you the coaching staff are saying that. And I almost
that chance from Martinelli where we had that 3-on-1 in the 96th minute, mate. Yeah,
Oh.
Martinelli can't pass the ball properly. Yeah, based on that alone, right? And this is going to sound harsh to people. I don't care. Based on that alone, drop him for the next game. But you can't pass a 20-yard straight pass. Drop
Martinelli, he got a goal and an assist, bruv.
Don't care. You're 3-on-1. All you got to do is have a bit of composure and Saka rounds the goalkeeper and scores. And you overhit it by 10 yards. It's a 20-yard pass, straight pass. Drop him. Put Trossard in next game. And this is where the elite mentality has to kick in now, right? Because people are sitting there, and I've seen people already saying, oh, well, if we finish second, hold on, mate, we're still 6 points clear. What do you mean if we finish second? Why are you even thinking of second? But this is the loser mindset that's infiltrated this fan base for a decade or more. Yeah, if we finish, no. And another thing I want to say here, Terry, right? Because I'm getting the hump with people saying this. Nobody expected it. All these pundits at the start of the season, if you go back to your own predictions at the start, who cares? One of my mates is a Villa fan. Start of the season, he wanted Europa League or Conference League. That was his expectation as a fan, right? Gerrard gets him 12 points after 13 games or 13 after 12 or whatever. His expectation changed based on what was happening, yeah? And he was like, just stay in the league. Just stay in the league. Now they get Unai Emery in, they're 6th. So now his expectations have changed to go, let's get back in Europa or go Europa League again. But with Arsenal, oh no, what you say, there's nobody expected us, so we can't finish and do it. And you're not allowed to say it because you're not allowed to say expectations can change. Because nobody expected us to win it, if we don't win it, we can all say that. If we do win it, they'll be relentless and be more mouthy than they are anyway. But if we don't win it, they'll come out with that one. Yeah. Terry, on the 12th of January this year, we were 8 points clear of Man City. They had no games in hand. So at that point, no Arsenal fan thought, actually, we've got to go and win it now then. Like, if that's the case, then what is going on here?
I think for me, like I said, I spoke about it on a video I did this morning. This kind of notion of, after this game, a lot of people some fans fran baby out with the bathwater. It's almost like, right, let's get it in now that we ain't going to win it, and therefore we won't be bantered if we don't. And then there are others that are like it's fine, but equally you shouldn't criticize what we do. And I'm like, there's the right answers in the middle. I think Arsenal fans should be frustrated at throwing a 2-0 lead away. They should criticize the mistakes of the manager at the weekend. They should criticize the mistakes of the players, even the ones who played well. But you don't have to go to the extremities of kicking off and throwing in the towel and fighting each other. Because I'll give you an example at my club, and we're not in the title race. But when we got battered by Newcastle, I criticized the manager's first the team he started with. I ripped into the substitutions he made. I berated the performances of particular individuals. But that was it. It was for that isolated game. These were the mistakes. These were the issues from within this game. What I find fan bases now are struggling to do is isolate games and react to that match, review that game, as opposed to how they feel about a player in their entirety. So
why do you think that is?
I tell you why that. I 100% I tell you why that is, because of the mob mentality that now exists around on supporting fans online. I know for a fact that some gooners will sit there, some throw their toys out the pram because they like to overreact. And I watched what you said after the game, watched a whole match review. You didn't change your stance on the fact that you still think you're going to win the league. You just criticized the individual game. And I think that's the right thing. Week. And that's the right thing to do. I think there's a lot of people that are like, I don't want to say anything negative because groups of people online might come for me. I might get labeled Lee Gunner Jr. I might, some of the females that do it, oh, you're Leanne Gunner. And it's almost like, but that's ridiculous.
How is she, by the way?
Yeah, all good, all good. You have to criticize the things that went wrong. You can also show that you're angry not to win a football match, but that not mean that you're angry with your football team overall. And that's the bit for me that really stood out of the weekend from a fan perspective. It was like, there's one guy that came on the show and was like, I'm just so annoyed we didn't win the game. and the amount of gooners that came from him saying, "How dare you slag the team off?" He's like, he hasn't slagged the team off. He just said he's angry that you didn't
Yeah,
win.
but this is the loser mindset that's infiltrated and infested this fan base for too long, Terry.